Have you ever wondered if you're truly protected in the spiritual realm? There are people who talk about Dios and still walk through fear, attacks, and defeats that keep repeating. Others, however, seem untouchable. Nothing shakes them. The best laid traps disarm before they even touch them. So what's the secret? It's not a charm, not luck, not a human label. The truth is simple and deep. There are real signs that expose those who live under covering. You can't fake those signs. You see them in your peace, in your decisions, in how you rise after the storm. Today, I'm going to show you 5 signs from Dios that confirm if you are protected and untouchable. By the end, you'll understand why some people win battles, others repeat without exit, and how that same covering can be activated in your life starting today. Quick heads up, sign number 3 explains why certain attacks reach the door and never cross it. You'll see it in a few minutes. If you value truth without sugar and tools for everyday life, subscribe and drop your comment now with the word ready. Let's keep going. The first sign appears when reverence stops being a concept and becomes your way of walking. I'm not talking about living terrified. I'm talking about recognizing Dios in every decision, in private and in public. That respect sets a guard around you. You'll notice it in small things, an inner impulse that makes you pause before you sign something shady, a door that closes just in time, a conversation that dies down right before it explodes. Someone will say, "What a coincidence." You know it wasn't coincidence. When you honor Dios, the defense activates. It's not the absence of battle, it's advantage in the battle. And the peace that walks with you isn't decoration. It's a sign of covering. Watch how it works in the everyday. A provocation comes. Before, you would have answered with rage. Today, you choose to stay quiet, breathe, guard your heart. That silent decision saves you days of conflict. A shiny invitation shows up with shortcuts that stain your conscience. Before, you would have said yes for fear of missing the chance. Today, you say no and move forward with peace. That peace isn't weakness. It's a wall. Whoever walks in reverence discerns, doesn't give themselves to every noise, learns to leave on time the environments that sicken the soul. And even if the environment pushes toward chaos, you stay steady. That steadiness discourages darkness, which always looks for unstable ground to sow. Drop your comment now with "I see it" if you're already recognizing this sign in your life. And let's continue with something crucial. How you prepare your day determines if you step out exposed or armored. In under a minute, the second sign is the reason certain fiery arrows don't burn you, even when they arrive flaming. The second sign shows when you don't step outside naked. You get dressed on the inside before you open your front door. What does that look like in practice? You reaffirm your identity when you wake up. You remember you belong to Dios, and your worth doesn't depend on the applause or rejection of the day. You set your compass to righteousness. You decide not to sell your integrity for quick approval. You put confidence in front. You know darts will come as thoughts, comments, and news. You won't receive them with your skin. You'll quench them with conviction. You fasten truth around your waist. You won't allow lies to shape you. And you lace up peace for the road. You choose not to enter small wars that drain big battles. That's how the arrows go out. Doubt arrives, you're not enough. You cross it with, "I don't walk alone." Accusation hits. You failed, you're finished. You pierce it with, "I'm upheld and I can begin again." The seduction of the shortcut whispers, "Do it, no one will see." You stop it with, "I prefer peace over guilt." Instead of biting the hook of the day, you see it coming and let it pass. People living like this look lucky. In reality, they're dressed. And that clothing isn't pride, it's daily discipline. The third sign is a boundary darkness respects even if it doesn't want to, and it's the reason certain attacks stop at the door. I'm not talking about superiority. I'm talking about a price already paid that set a real limit. When you remember it, you stop negotiating your value with other people's opinions. A slander makes noise, but it doesn't define you. An attempt at bondage looks for a seat and finds a wall. A temptation hits and bounces off. This doesn't make you perfect. It makes you set apart. And when you fall, you don't wrap yourself in guilt. You return to the source, you get clean, you get up. Darkness prefers you stay on the ground arguing with your shame. You choose to rise in what Dios has done. That's why many attacks don't prosper. They reach a line and stop. Let me land it. A habit that used to trap you now can't find where to anchor. A thought that used to choke you no longer settles in. A relationship that drained you lost power over you. If this is happening, that mark is active. And when night falls, it shows even more. Before, sleep was hard. Now even in the struggle, you rest differently. Because your refuge stopped being the screen and became Dios. It's not that there are no problems. It's that they no longer govern you on the inside. You sit, you speak with him honestly. You empty out and receive calm. That space becomes your safest place. There your decisions are strengthened and your mind is renewed. You don't need complicated formulas. You need consistency. Daily refuge opens a roof few people know. The fourth sign is to dwell, not just visit. You don't look for Dios only in an emergency. You make his presence your daily direction. That gives you a kind of rest that doesn't depend on the weather outside. When everything shakes, inside there is shade, there is covering. I'll repeat it, it's not a lack of war. It's certainty of victory. You recognize this sign because in the middle of storms, you make good decisions. Fear stops being your counselor. Hurry stops being your guide. Your reaction is no longer to run to anything that numbs you. Your decision is to hide in the right place. And when you hide there, you come out better with peace in your eyes and clarity in your steps. People will ask you, how do you keep from breaking? And you'll know it's not your own strength. It's the place where you're kept. If this is building you up, share this video with someone who's fighting in silence today. Drop your comment now with I'm in and tell me which of these signs you need to strengthen first. The fifth sign is identity, the highest one. It's not what you do, it's who you are. When you accept that you're not begging for love, but walking as a son or daughter before Dios, some labels fall off forever. Living for applause stops being an option. Selling your heart cheap stops being an option. Wearing a mask to fit in stops being an option. Darkness can hit you, but it cannot define you. You're not spared from trials. You're spared from belonging to them. Here a powerful turn happens. The blow no longer turns you into someone else. They hurt you and you don't return poison. They betray you and you don't sign a victim identity. They humiliate you and you don't shrink to that scene. You forgive not out of weakness, but because you choose to be free. That forgiveness is a shield. It cuts the fuel of attacks that used to chase you for weeks. You've become soil where their seed does not grow. Practical touchdown in 3 steps to start today. 1. Practical reverence. One concrete gesture right now that honors Dios. Ask for forgiveness. Return something. Close a conversation that contaminates. Fulfill what you promised. 2. Get dressed before you go out. Quietly reaffirm your identity, your integrity, your conviction, and your peace. It's not a cute phrase, it's alignment. 3. Daily refuge. Set a block of time in the same place every day to empty your heart and recover direction. Consistency opens a roof. Short night prayer without complicated words. Dios, today I rest under your shadow. Your peace guards my mind. Your truth guards my path. Your seal sets me apart from evil. I am yours, amen. Summary to memorize, reverence that draws defense. Preparation that puts out arrows. A mark that sets limits on darkness. Refuge that gives rest in the storm. Identity that makes you impossible to define by pain. If this spoke to you, subscribe and drop your comment now with Despiertos. Share this message with someone who needs covering today, not tomorrow. Before you go, do something bold. Subscribe and turn on notifications. Drop your comment now with the word Despiertos and answer in 1 sentence. Which sign will you reinforce this week, and what concrete step will you take today? Read someone else's comment and encourage them. Share this message with 2 people who are fighting in silence and need covering now. In the next video, you'll discover how to discern signs in dreams, when it's just tiredness and when it's a warning, and what to do in each case. Don't miss it. May Dios cover you, guide you, and keep you steady. You walk protected and untouchable where it matters most, on the inside.